Hello and welcome to another edition of Heads Up, the information programme that lets you know what's happening here at Coláiste Chiaráin. In this edition, we talk to Sandra Sheehan about ADAPT House and the Healthy Relationships programme, which is just finishing up here in the school. Sandra, you're very welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So, thank you for coming. So just tell us about ADAPT House and the work that you do there.
Well, ADAPT Domestic Abuse Services, we work with women and children who have experienced domestic abuse, and part of what we do is we provide refuge accommodation for women and their children who are in crisis. So in the refuge we have 14 self-contained apartments which can accommodate up to 14 women and their family. We also provide a number of outreach services such as clinics around the county and the city for women who may not want to come to the refuge to speak to somebody about the impact domestic abuse is having on them. There's also a key working system for the children who are there, so every family gets a key worker as well for the kids. Mm-hmm. And we work with the children around the domestic abuse. We also do outreach work with young people. So if there are teenagers or young people who can't come into the refuge and their mum is out of the relationship, I travel out and meet them on a one-to-one basis. And obviously we do the Healthy Relationship programme within the schools.
And talk to me about the connection with Coláiste Chiaráin and how it came about.
Well, it was through John Kelly of the School Completions programme. I had been doing a little bit of work with John on something else, and he was aware of the Healthy Relationships programme, so he asked if we would be able to come along and do the programme here in the school, and he organised all the technicalities of it, like double classes and all that, and that's how we started. Excellent.
And what is the thinking behind ADAPT moving into schools?
Well, I suppose it's like the prevention is better than cure type situation, awareness raising. The idea is that making young people aware of what their rights within a relationship are, or how they should expect to be treated, as well as having the responsibility of treating the other person with dignity and respect, and just, I suppose, looking at what relationships mean to young people today, and also raising awareness around abuse and teen relationships, what to look out for. So the idea is if we start young with people, it's the time when you're modelling your behaviour for your future relationships. Yeah. So it was just the sooner you start talking about it, the more prepared you are for the rest of your life.
Well, a very highly important topic, I think, to be discussing with the young people. So how does the Healthy Relationships programme work within a school?
Well, basically it runs over 6 weeks. There's a double class period each week, and we do the different methods to deliver the programme. So there's a lot of small group work, large group feedback. We have different topics each week. We look at caring relationships, what they look like. We talk about the different types of abuse that there are, because lots of people just think of the physical side of abuse, and maybe something more like psychological abuse or controlling behaviour are things that sometimes young people don't recognise as being abusive or harmful. So we try and raise awareness around that. We use DVDs, interactive type stuff where we do moving debates, and just try and keep it as energetic, and even though it's a heavy topic, we do try and do it in a fun and creative way. So.
And it is fair to say that relationships, they're very important in young people's lives, but they're also, I suppose, a very sensitive issue. And how do you view the issue?
Well, it is, of course, and especially during teenage years, there's so much going on. Even with a healthy relationship, you know, it's huge. It's often new to the young person. It's maybe their first boyfriend or girlfriend, and you're very caught up in everything. So I think it's doubly important for that reason, if it's a first relationship, that they're aware of what should be there, what's the good part of that, and maybe what are the not so good things to look out for. And for themselves as well, if it's their first time being in a relationship, how they're treating the other person, and just to be mindful of certain behaviours that, you know, mightn't be appropriate, or wouldn't be giving the other person, you know, the best treatment in a relationship. So yeah, it's very there's so much going on for them, and it's very sensitive, but we try and approach it with as much care as we can.
How do you feel the response has been?
Oh, it's been fantastic, I have to say. The young people themselves are just fabulous to work with, and it's one of the things I love about going out into the schools is just a bit of banter that gets going as well, and they're so open about sharing opinions and great at, you know, just participating, and without that sort of participation from the young people, it wouldn't be possible for the programme to work well within the school. So we've had nothing but positive experience so far.
Excellent, that's great to hear. And what are your plans for the future here with us?
Well, hopefully we'll be continuing to be involved going forward, and we've already spoken about taking your booking form for next year. So again, we'll have more groups for September coming, and I'll also be giving a talk to some of the fifth years around health relationships and domestic abuse, and so we're going to be involved on a continuous basis.
Excellent. Well, Sandra, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for talking to us, and we hope to see you, which we will, in the not so distant future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for another edition. Join us again next time on Heads Up, and until then, have a good week.